comes.
perfect.
Are you
Okay,
ready?
I am so ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening and welcome to the special committee of the whole meeting for Wednesday, October 26th. And we're beginning the meeting at 6:35 p.m. I'd like to confirm the agenda. And so at this point, are there any emergent items from any of the councillors regarding the agenda of this special committee of the whole meeting? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go to administration. Anything from administration?
No, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. And so I'm looking for a motion to confirm the agenda as presented. Councillor Langmaid.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to move that Council adopt the October 26, 2022 Special Committee of the Whole Meeting agenda as presented.
Thank you very much, Councillor Langmaid. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And thank you at your location, an undisclosed location, Councillor Montgomery. And that motion is carried. I'd like to welcome and thank all of the community groups who are here today. I don't see you. I see my council in front of me, so I don't see you necessarily. But I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. And for those of you, obviously, who've submitted requests for funding, the town is undergoing a new budget process this year. And this meeting today will help inform our discussions around budget allocations for community grants. We do have a very full agenda tonight with 13 community groups presenting. And for this reason, we're going to try and adhere to the following rules. I'd like to remind everyone that this is a public meeting. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube. Any presentation material that is shared during today's meeting will also be shared on YouTube. Each group is allowed 10 minutes to present. Council will then be given the opportunity to ask clarifying questions. We will not be doing any debates on any of the requests tonight. We're basically here to hear all of yours. And then at a later time, we'll be going to our budget discussions to deliberate on those requests. And the town has scheduled budget meetings for November 22nd, 24th, and 29th. And we're hoping to have the operating and capital budgets approved on December 7th. So at this time, I am ready to move on to the community group funding requests. I know many of you are eager to state your case and just tell us a bit about what your requests are. So the order of presentation will begin with STARS, and you are the first speakers. And if you wouldn't mind, when you come to the microphone, if you could just introduce yourself and then begin your presentation. Following STARS will be Communities in Bloom. And if this was a baseball game, in the deck, well, it's on deck, and then the Municipal Library Board is waiting after them. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship, and Council as well. It's my pleasure to see you once again and to bring you further information in our request to Council for funding. So I'll begin. My name is Glenda Farndon. I'm the Senior Municipal Relations Liaison for STARS in Alberta as well as BC. So STARS has very humble beginnings. STARS was born out of necessity. So in the beginning, our founder, Dr. Greg Powell, he had discovered that in Alberta, studies showed that we had 50% higher trauma-related deaths than in any other province in Canada. This is what led to Dr. Powell's vision of one life lost is too many. So he ventured to find a partner and partnered with the Lions of Alberta Foundation, who provided funding for a leased helicopter, while he also, including himself, with a team of volunteer doctors, nurses, and paramedics, STARS was born. In the first year of service, we flew 50 missions. Today, we are flying over 3,500 missions per year. Now today, we are under new leadership of Andrea Robertson. She is our STARS president and CEO. We have now, under her leadership, expanded to 6 bases across 3 provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, serving 4 provinces because we do also serve Eastern BC. We have 3 provincial government agreements in place. We're averaging 10 missions per day across the 6 bases. 5 of those missions per day are in Alberta alone. And we have now achieved a new fleet to take us forward. STARS has been a charitable entity organization in Alberta now for 37 years. And we have now, to have us go forward for the next 35 to 40 years, we have a brand new fleet of 10 H-145 helicopters. This new helicopter is breakthrough technology. Now, previously I did provide information to you about the intensive care unit in the back, but now let's talk about the front of the helicopter. This H-145 outperforms the previous BK-117 in speed, range, and fuel efficiency. Like the BK-117, it has powerful twin engines, but also advanced avionics, as you can see in the photo here. Autopilot, auto hover will help to reduce pilot fatigue, especially in back-to-back missions. Superior safety features. It's an all-new 5-bladed system which will provide for increased lift and load capacity, which is going to be very beneficial, especially in your area, complex terrain, high winds, these types of things. It will require less maintenance, which in turn is going to mean that there's increased availability of the helicopter as well as reduced cost. And the intensive care unit environment in the back also has those increased advancements in innovation in the latest in technology for the medical equipment as well. In the Emergency Link Center, which is located in Calgary, it is a 24/7 safety network. They have access to every available resource, including GIS mapping, as well as preset coordinates, and especially in times when there may be no access to the patient, meaning that ground ambulance cannot reach the patient, and neither can fixed wing if there is not a runway. So lots of times there are access issues where that would be when STARS would still be available, even if it is not critical circumstances. Majority of all our calls are of a critical nature. So our transport physicians, they provide oversight on all critical calls. So our transport physicians are now taking a shift in the Emergency Link Center, and they help to determine the mechanism of injury or illness and dispatch the appropriate response. They also help to coordinate the complex logistical arrangements with the receiving hospitals for such things as scheduling a neurosurgeon or scheduling the cardiac cath lab, things, and so that the patient can immediately, upon arrival, go directly to where they need to be or directly into trauma surgery. There's approximately a 1-to-10 ratio for STARS assistance. So this means that upon, a community saying, let's say, 10 missions per year, it's very likely that STARS has assisted that community with 100 additional in the background, through the virtual consultation and these other areas where if the helicopter did not respond, we are still in the loop and providing guidance and assistance. We average 99 requests every single day, and the mission rate continues to increase. Within the Wheatland County boundaries, which would include the town of Strathmore, there's an average of 35 missions per year overall. Now, this would equate to approximately, for an average 90-minute mission, operational mission costs only over $250,000 per year in service value to your residents and area. More than 50% of these missions are directly from Strathmore out of this average 35 missions per year. In 2020 and 2021, the town of Strathmore averaged 24 missions each year. So this, to your residents and area directly, this would have represented over $175,000 in service value. We receive over 36,000 emergency requests each year in the Emergency Link Center across the 6 bases. There is leadership above and beyond with the municipalities across Alberta and into northeastern BC. These municipalities recognize STARS as an essential service Currently, there's 90% regional partnerships across our province based on either a per capita amount or an annual fixed rate value each year. So urbans are contributing a minimum $2 per capita. Rurals go up to $90 per capita, and everything in between. We have many regional leaders across the province, and I wanted to point out that Wheatland County is one of our regional leaders, especially in the southern area. What this means is that every single municipality within their boundaries are also supporters, including the county, so there is a solid partnership there. We currently have 7 municipal leaders also that are represented on the helicopters. They have now moved to where they have an annual standing motion, a line item for STARS in their emergency protective services budget each year. And these range as high as $210,000 per year. So we're hoping that as we move forward that we will continue to work with your council as well, and that we will continue to celebrate Wheatland County and all of the municipalities within, including the town of Strathmore, as one of our regional leaders. The united effort of all the municipalities across the province currently are generating collectively each year over $2 million in sustainable, reliable support that STARS can count on each year as the mission volume continues to increase. So everything that you see green is a STARS municipal supporter annually. STARS has been serving Albertans since 1985. More than 50,000 missions have been flown to date, and more importantly, at no cost to the patient. So our request to you is to please consider to join many of the other municipalities across the entire region at a $2 per capita rate for the remainder of your council term, which would be 23, 24, and 2025. On behalf of our VIPs, or our very important patients, we thank you for your partnership. A life is saved every day, and it's partnership that has made that all possible. You have made that possible, and we celebrate and hope to continue a long-term partnership for many generations to come. Thank you.
And seeing and hearing none, there are no questions. Thank you very much for your presentation. And again, we'll be discussing this in our budget deliberations. So that should be in about the 3rd week of November, we'll start with that. So thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you much for your partnership.
You're welcome. Thank you. That brings us to Communities in Bloom, followed by the Marigold Library Board. And once again, when you come to the podium, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, that would be great.
Hi, my name's Jen Neufeld, and I'm here with,
Rob Perry, and I'm just a cheerleader tonight.
on behalf of Communities in Bloom. So good evening, Mayor and Council. We were just here a couple weeks ago, and we're still riding the excitement of our recent 5 Bloom Award, an achievement that gives us pride and joy for all the planning, projects, and people involved in its culmination. We trust that the town is taking advantage of this accolade in its economic development, tourism, and marketing activities. We are pleased to have an excellent relationship with the community, our town, and our elected officials. We work closely with the Parks and Operations team, blessed with their recommendations and collaboration on our projects. We are grateful for the support we've received over the years and look forward to your continued support. Our financials are housed in our CIB account with the town's accounting department, ensuring accountability and oversight for our committee's security and longevity. Some of the projects we have completed on, partnered on, or contributed to over the past several years include bench installments at the Food Forest and Grays Park, wetland interpretive signs in Grays Park, irrigation installment and heritage signs at the Station Gardens at Lambert Park, planters and volunteer work bee for the Great Memorial Hall's Centennial, garden boxes at the library and FCSS, Wheatland and at George Freeman Schools, gardening kits and tools for the library's lending program, providing seeds for a seniors program through FCSS, our Heritage Tree Identification and Signage Project, a Butterfly Way project, which was a Facebook campaign to promote planting pollinators in Strathmore yards. We contributed to a heritage tree at the Strathmore Egg Grounds with the Egg Society. We participated, planned, and organized provincial judging several times over the years. Developed a yard recognition program for residents during COVID to maintain community connections. Recognized our long-term support of the credit union by commissioning a local painting for display. And then we've also done a Thanks for Keeping Strathmore Tidy campaign, which was a garbage can sticker campaign. If you've been to any garbage cans recently, you can see the stickers there. Some of our ongoing projects include school project consultations. We've done some already at Wheatland, Crowther, and TCA. Spring workshops, which we intend to resume in 2023. The Garden of Eaton Community Garden at Hope Church. The Birth Forest in Green Meadows and the Edible Food Forest along Centennial Drive. Support for and membership at the Vault. Promotion of sharing produce through our Backyard Bounty Facebook group. We collaborate with the Strathmore High School Community Greenhouse on further projects. And we're revisiting our business beautification project that was set aside due to COVID a couple years ago. As part of our evaluation, our Communities in Bloom judges had some recommendations that we will be exploring as we lay out a plan for the upcoming year. One suggestion is to look for opportunities to expand the landscaped areas and tree canopy along the gateways and the Highway 1 corridor. Another suggestion is to encourage rainwater harvesting and water conservation through workshops. Working with the business community to support their environmental and landscape efforts was also encouraged, and this is something that we would also like to see developed in the coming year. Wall murals that reflect the town's history, similar to the one at Brentwood School, would be seen as an asset for future judging. Another recommendation was to capture, preserve, and make local history from our current knowledge keepers accessible to others before this knowledge is lost or moves away. The judges were very impressed with our unique heritage tree program and made the suggestion to work with the town to implement potential protection and maintenance bylaws for these areas. They also encouraged us to pursue funding to continue to increase our tree inventory, including more edible landscapes, pollinator habitats, and naturalized areas. Over the past 2 years, CIB has received over $17,000 in funding from a range of grants and community supporters, including Blue Cross, Fortis, Healthy Futures, the Lions Club, and Connect First Credit Union. Of this, the town of Strathmore has provided $5,000, and we have successfully leveraged our town support to acquire this further funding. We would like to request that the town continue their annual support for CIB in the amount of $5,000, that we might continue to leverage those funds in support of community projects, such as the ones mentioned by the judges, as well as our ongoing projects. Our committee will be meeting in the next few weeks to review our evaluation and make plans for 2023. We welcome suggestions and ideas from council, from the recent community needs assessment, the business community, and the community at large as we begin this planning process. Our provincial award acknowledged Community in Bloom's tremendous number of partnerships, and we would encourage town council to point groups towards CIB as an organization that is willing to partner with funds, grant applications, and work towards making Strathmore even greater than it already is. Thank you for your time and your continued support.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions from any of the councillors for Communities in Bloom? Seeing none, we thank you for your presentation, and we'll begin our budget deliberations in about a month. That brings us to the Municipal Library Board, followed by Royal Canadian Legion Strathmore Branch number 10. Good evening, and again, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves when you're ready to begin your presentation.
Go ahead.
Yes, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, Your Worship and councillors. We're the delegation from the Strathmore Municipal Library. So with me is Anio Oboma, he's our director, and I'm Jeff Ball, chair of the board. We also have trustee Tora Fox Walker in attendance here. So first of all, thanks for having us tonight. We'd like to talk a bit about what the library is doing and where we're going. Thank you. All right, so first we'd like to just remind you of our mission at the library, which is to provide opportunities for lifelong learning to the residents and visitors of Strathmore and District. That's key to everything we do, both as a board and as a library. Oh, there we go. So these are a few of our goals. They're central to everything we do. They're part of our plan of service that we propose every couple of years or pass as a board. I'll invite you later if you want to read through those. But mainly they're about growing with the community. That's always been important to us, and as this community grows, we hope to continue to do so as well. So I will turn it over to Anio to go over a few of the stats about where we've been these last few years, or what we've been doing.
Thank you. So my name is Anayo. I'm the Director of Library Services here in Strathmore. So discussing or continuing the discussion about our goals, Strathmore Municipal Library has nearly 30,000 books, magazines and audiobooks and movies in its collections. And we have 8 computers that could easily be accessible in the library, right, for the public. So our membership as a member library in Marigold Regional Library allows us to use Track, which allows patrons to access over 150 libraries throughout the province. So Strathmore Municipal Library's participation in RISE. RISE project is a project spearheaded by Marigold Library System, where Strathmore Municipal Library was a participant of that, and that allowed us to engage our patrons to interact with live presenters and learn new skills. So moving forward, I'll give quick highlights of some of the programs that we offered virtually in 2021. And the reason why this is virtual is because of the lockdown that occurred in 2021. So we have our Read for 15 program, where we encouraged patrons to read and report their time to the library and be entered for a prize to win something in the library. So they can read with families, but this is a way for us to encourage people to read at home and then report their time that they read to the library to be entered for a prize. So we have the self-care bingo. So as a part of our mental health initiative, which was launched last year during lockdown, patrons picked up bingo cards with self-care ideas to help them through the isolation of the pandemic. So the National Indigenous Peoples Day, we partnered with 3 Indigenous speakers to talk about their experiences via Zoom. So this is also what we offered virtually in 2021. So we have the English Conversation Cafe, which is an online meeting focused on speaking and listening skills in conversational English. So just a quick highlight of the in-person programs we offered in 2021. So we have the Ice Cream in the Park, which is a partnership program with other stakeholders in Wheatland County. So held outside in summer, so where we have storytelling, games, and craft programs and activities. And we have small skills for young adults and adults, where participants tell us what skills they need to improve on and how we can help them achieve those skills or work with them overall. So I'll turn this over to Jeff to discuss the budget.
So later, Annie will go over a few of our statistics and some kind words from patrons and members of the community. But first about the budget. So as we move into 2023, I'm confident that all of council will remember last year's budget. There was a watershed when with your help, we were able to remove membership fees at the library, which has had and will continue to have a huge impact on the town. We were excited for that to move forward both as a library and as a member of this town. So going into 2023, given inflation, there are, costs are increasing, but we've passed a budget as a board of trustees with just a moderate or a very modest ask for an increase in the local appropriation grant, just to cover a slight increase in staff, payroll, and costs of doing business. So the ask for 2023 would be about $348,000, which is an increase of just over 2% from the amount that was approved last year. And again, as mentioned there, it's mostly due to modest wage increase and cost of operations. So you can see in this table that total revenue outside of the local appropriation has gone down just slightly, a couple $100, and just over 1,000, and expenses have gone up about $7,000.
Okay, so discussing the statistics for 2021. So these are the programs we offered overall, in total 323 programs, and we had about 1620 participants in those programs. So you can see the breakdown of the programs. You can see that we have programs for children, young adults, and families, and multi-generation. So the annual statistics, so you can actually see the physical collection that we have here in Strathmore. So you can see that we have about 28,000 physical items in our collection. And we still have 8 workstations, and we have 1,964 sessions. So one session is about an hour, 60 minutes. So with the total visits in person, 25,000, almost 26,000. And this is virtual visit to our website. This is excluding social media visits. And then you see the interlibrary loan. So interlibrary loan is 52,300 is actually what our patrons from Strathmore borrowed from other libraries from the province. And 19,700 is what we gave or we lent out to other libraries. So good things. So I think it's good for us to talk about the good things that we hear our patrons talk about the library. Okay, this is from Amanda and Christina posting on Facebook and discussing how they've really enjoyed using the library. I would like to share that with council, right? So this is from Katie, who is happy that the library is a fun place and hub of the community. And this is from Lila, MLA, recognizing the return of investment of libraries, that libraries offer. And this is from Pat, our mayor, right? Encouraging and applauding the library staff to continue to do amazing things and continue to deliver programs to all ages. Thank you very much, and this is what we have. We are ready to take questions.
Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the Royal Canadian Legion, Strathmore branch number 10, followed by the Strathmore and Wheatland County Christmas Hamper Society. Good evening, and again, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves to the public at home and to the gallery.
Branch number 10, and I thank you for allowing us to bring our presentation. Our branch service officer, Donovan Arnault, is going to do the actual presentation. And if I may, I'd like to pass out a copy for each of you.
Your worship, members of council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And thank you for allowing us to make this representation this evening. As Bruce introduced us, we are from the Royal Canadian Legion, that wonderful old building down the road. And as you probably noticed, this summer we celebrated our 100th anniversary. It is in that vein, because of the age of our building, that we're here representing our claim applications. Specifically, items which have, over years, grown old and tired and need to be replaced. I feel it's important that before we get to the specifics of our claims, that we represent what we do at the Legion and why we're here and why this organization is so valuable. We are the only place in town and in the region that is home to veterans and their families, to support them for their sacrifice that they have made over the years. That is not just the people who have died in the Great Wars, but that continues even today. Members of the Canadian Forces, members of the RCMP, members of the Coast Guard, merchant seamen, all of these folks are now part of our family. In addition, we have associate members and affiliate members, people whose parents, whose families, uncles, aunts, and so forth have served in the Canadian Forces and in the RCMP and in Coast Guard. They've served our great country. And that continues today. As recent as 11, 12 years ago, we had over 11,000 Canadians come home having served in Afghanistan. So the need to support our folks is real. And that's why our building and our organization is so important. And we hope and wish to continue doing that. Now, for the past 2 or 3 years, the enemy was COVID. Shut us down. The bills kept coming in, but we were not allowed to generate any funding. We're not a very rich organization, but we make do, and we don't complain. And we're very grateful when we're offered an opportunity like tonight to come forward and ask for your support. I understand that you have our claim applications before you. You've had an opportunity to read them. So put simply, given the age of our building, we have 2 priorities at this time. Our flooring is in pretty sad state of repair, to the extent that it's almost unsafe in some areas. We have over 400 members in our family, and many of whom are very elderly. And we don't want them tripping and hurting themselves when they come to visit us at the Legion. But from a practical point of view, these floors do need to be repaired. The other, we'll call it a critical issue, although it's a seasonal one, and our mayor commented on that this summer when he helped us celebrate our 100th anniversary. As he was standing there in the hall, he said, "It's a bit close in here, isn't it? Can't we open some windows?" Our ventilation system, our air conditioning, is non-existent. It's long since past its time, and it needs to be replaced. These applications representing the floor and the air conditioning are before you. I won't dwell on them. There's very practical realities, needs, and we appreciate your consideration at this time. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation. Councillor Mitzner.
Have you explored historical grants for your building?
At this time, no. That is forthcoming. We hope to do that in the future. We are in the process of doing a complete evaluation of our facility from top to bottom, from end to end, and that is being considered at this time. But it's far from finished, and we have not received all the submissions yet from our families in terms of what they would like to see in the future. But the answer to your question is that will be done at some point in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Councilor Mitzer. Councilor Wiley?
So I just want to confirm, I have two estimates here for flooring. Is that correct? One was for about 27 and the other is about 29?
That's correct.
And then two estimates for air conditioning, is that?
That's
right?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
These, I should elaborate, if I may, on those two. These applications have been developed as project to a stage 3 costing. If we are offered the money to proceed with the flooring, we can begin that soon into the new year. As for the air conditioning, we will want to delay that until the spring.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions from councilors? Seeing none, once again, thank you, gentlemen, for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
That brings us to the Strathmore and Wheatland County Christmas Hamper Society, followed by Strathmore and District Agricultural Society. And again, if you could introduce yourself to the council, to the gallery, and to people at home.
Hello, everybody, and up there. And my son, who never misses one of these town live things on the iPad. First,
He's a brave man.
First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to you all for this opportunity to present you with some information about our society and the needs that the Christmas Hamper has in providing families. I will. Yeah. He's always doing that at meetings. Yeah. For families at Christmas time in the Strathmore and Wheatland County area. For you that don't know me, my name's Marilyn Galvin. I'm currently serving my 3rd year here as the chair for this organization. And along with myself, I have 2 dedicated volunteers. One here, Lorraine Stagnes, who is the toy coordinator for our group and has been with the Hamper for 9 years now. And I find that outstanding, awesome. And Jack Hiller, our treasurer, who I believe is in his 4th year with the Hamper. Our entire executive and committee base at the Christmas Hamper is solely run by volunteers only, coming from different businesses, families, and groups in the Strathmore and Wheatland community. Most of them are from, of course, the Strathmore and Wheatland County, but we do have quite a few longtime supporters outside of this area that continue to support with food, monetary gifts, and whatnot. So I'm going to open this now to Lorraine and Jack. They both have prepared documents on stats and finances of kind of the numbers that we need to make this happen. So I'll hand this over to Lorraine.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lorraine Stagnes, and as Marilyn said, I've been with the Toy Hamper for 9 years. Love working with the Toy Hamper. It's the most fun, I think, anyway. I've lived in Strathmore and then the County of Wheatland and now in Strathmore again for 73 years. And I find that Strathmore and community is so supportive of all of our programs, but especially of the Christmas Hamper. People want families to have as good a Christmas as they have. And I think this year, with the way that things are, the expenses of everything, I hope we get the same amount of donations and that we can bring some joy to these kids at Christmas. We don't, last year, our numbers went up significantly. They went up 60 children over the year before. So we had 342 kids between 0 and 18 provided with hampers. 0 to 6, there were 122 children. 7 to 12, 139, and 13 to 18, 81 children. Now, we had 1 and 2 child families, 110, and then 3 and over 50 families. But we try to, of course, toys are the big thing for kids for Christmas, but we try to supply things that they need. They get hats and mitts or gloves, scarves, socks, lots of socks because we get lots of them donated, and blankets, clothes. I crocheted 12 ponchos this year to give to the little ones because they're liking that. We get lots of our volunteers crocheting and knitting hats and donating those things, but they also get a bag with reading books in them, crafts, coloring books, crayons, a stuffy for the little ones, things that kids love to do and will keep them busy. So our volunteers are wonderful. I've worked with some of the same volunteers. We've got new people coming on this year, and they're just very thoughtful because they think of their own kids and past families and grandchildren, and you think, what if they didn't have anything? You know, what if their parents couldn't, or we as parents couldn't afford anything for them? It's lovely to be able to give them something. So I just feel fortunate to be able to work with all these wonderful volunteers and to provide the toy bags for the kids.
Hi, I'm Jack Hiller. I'm the treasurer with the society. I won't bore with you a bunch of numbers, but I'll highlight our budget for the 2020, we call it the 2022 campaign because it'll be done by the end of this fiscal or this calendar year. As you can see from the statistics that were provided to you, funds coming from donations have leveled off over the past couple of years. In fact, we have had, if we had not had a golf tournament this year, which was our first one, our funding would have been down from 2020. However, costs are continuing to rise as more and more families come to us for help. We've seen almost a 20% increase in the number of hampers in both toys and food. We don't see this trend reducing substantially. So have projected for both food and toy hampers to increase in costs by 15%. Operating costs appeared high for 2021, but that was just a mistake on our part. Forgot to pay rent for 6 months. It's a one-time, we pay one check for 6 months, so forgot to write one. We caught up in 2021. The town of Strathmore has generously provided funding to our society over several years now. Those funds have been used to purchase food and toys and clothing, as well as assist with operating expenses. Our society greatly appreciates the town's generosity and are requesting funding again to provide for the 2022 campaign. Thank you.
In that closing, I would just like to say thank you on behalf of the Christmas Hamper for your support in the past years. And that's, I guess, that's about it. We are in need from anyone and everybody. That's all.
Thank you for your presentation. Councillors, do you have questions? Councillor Wiley?
Hi, thanks for coming. I'm a teacher in town. And I know that at least 2 of the schools, they're talking about ways that they can support more local charities. And at my staff, I was privy to a conversation where we were talking about an alternative to Operation Christmas Child, that box.
Oh, yes.
Have you reached out to schools and just given them a specific way that they could help?
the schools are one of our biggest supporters.
Okay.
We start there, we've given their packages a month ago because they plan, you guys plan everything ahead, which is great. And we have planned pickups, they have planned within the schools for kids to bring, and certain schools do different campaign different products. Like one school will just collect the majority of what they ask for is like crayons and coloring books and books and stuff. Another school will ask for hygiene products. So they really help us. The schools are a big part of the Christmas.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They are very big.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wiley. Any other questions for Councillor Mitzner?
I just have a question. Are you affiliated with the food bank, or are these two separate entities?
Two separate
entities.
Okay, thank you. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that,
No.
and we are completely separate. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Councillor Mitzner, for that question. Deputy Mayor Peterson.
Thank you, Worship. On the food hamper side, you have a lot of cooperation with the food bank?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yes.
so even though you're very separate, like in terms of, you have lots of collaboration. And, you know, I've seen that firsthand, and
Yeah.
I just, you know,
Well, we request, I'm sorry, Denise, we request when we're short something, instead of using funds to go buy the food. And then at the end of the campaign, of course, we always end up with food left over. And if it's dated, that we can use this year, which we do, they will use that throughout the year when they need it too. type of thing.
I really appreciate that, because lots of people are watching and are wondering about this. And, you know, Mayor Fuel volunteers at the Wheatland Food Bank. And I know that they have expressed to me many times, you know, and in the last, you know, since your time on there, the tremendous level of cooperation and collaboration that's happened between the two groups. And
Yes,
they're
'cause
extraordinarily grateful for that.
I do work for the food bank as well.
Yes, I've seen
know
you
that,
there.
Denise. And I have the key to the toy
Yeah.
hamper.
Yeah.
So throughout, when I had the list, Marilyn would give me the list, and if we were short of ketchup, we'd go over and get ketchup or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So the food is definitely
Well,
between the two organizations, but we are separate entities.
Yeah, thank you so much for that clarification. Appreciate it.
We also cooperate in our fundraising projects. The golf tournament that I mentioned earlier was a joint
Venture between
with
the
Food
two.
Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did really well. It's really
Yes,
good.
we did.
Yeah.
We're just-
People had a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Councillor Wiley.
I'm sorry if this is already contained within your information. Is there an exact dollar amount that you're asking?
We've historically been receiving $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Have you done any corporate campaigns, like i.e. Walmart, Shoppers Drug Mart, some of the bigger players?
They donate through, like, we have, not Walmart, Walmart does not.
They don't.
They don't participate with us. I don't know why, I tried. But all the other places, they have bins in their stores, and they promote there when you go in, you know, would you like to put something into the hamper for the Christmas hamper? And they have donated stuff themselves, that way.
And then Canadian Tire last year.
Canadian Tire and Strathmore now, they run their big business thing, you know, promotion that they do together, but all their proceeds come to us, and that helped us last year tremendously.
Do you have something set up at the Festival of Lights? So when people are coming to view the lights, there could be something for a drop-off for kids?
But don't quote me. The reason why, they do take donations, but they're for somebody, they already collect them for somebody, so, when I was talking to them up there. So you don't like to step on anyone's toes, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And especially now and this year, I mean, everybody's in need. I mean, just even listening here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think we got it tough.
I know. It's true.
You know, everybody does. So it's just whatever you can do.
Okay, thank you.
That's how we do it.
Thank you, Councillor Mitzner. Thank you for your presentation, but while I have you here, I just want to thank you all. I know you represent many more people, but thank you for all the volunteer hours you all put in to come up with ways to make people's Christmases that much better. And I know there are a lot of struggling families in Strathmore and in the county, and we really appreciate it. And I guess I'll leave you with a question. Are you in need of any volunteers between now and Christmas?
Yes, well, yes and no. That was my last statement, was
Right.
all welcome.
Yeah.
Up
Yes.
to the Livestock Pavilion from November, say, 18th to December 13th.
Okay.
Or over to our toys. We kind of really lucked out this year so far. Christoph is looking after the media, and she's been putting ads on our Facebook and website, and I've been really getting a lot of people applying, or not applying, but hey, I'm here, I'd like to do it. And you see, with COVID for the last 2 years, we were a very limited group of people because of having to keep the distancing and keep everybody safe, which we did.
We did, yeah.
Touch wood, and all of that. So this year, it's open. I invite everybody, and we'll give everybody a job somewhere.
Okay. I will try and share it on my mayor's page often as well.
Okay, perfect. That's
Thank you
awesome.
again for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Mr. Scoble, I believe we're quite ahead of schedule, so we're looking for a short recess. Is that correct still?
Certainly. Were you looking for a break recess or to resume?
Well, I think we're missing some members.
Yep.
There's some groups that haven't come down yet, so we could take a quick break. I
Okay.
don't know if the Ag Society has just arrived, I understand. So do we want to go ahead with them before we take any kind of a recess? I'm not able to see how many people are in the audience, so I'm going by my notifications tonight. I can see all of you. You all look really good.
I think if the council members want to take a 5-minute break, that would be fine if that's their wish.
Council, how do you feel? Do you want to go ahead with the Agricultural Society, or do you want to take a quick break and see if other groups come in the meantime?
Mayor, I also understand the Ag Society is waiting for one more member, so we do
Okay.
have a bit of a pause here at the moment.
Okay, so how about I'll look for a motion then to take a 5-minute recess. Thank you, Councillor Langmaid.
Motion for a 5-minute recess.
Thank you. You've all heard the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I'm in favor as well. We'll see you in 5 minutes.